You're listening to the 412 podcast from FBC Mustang in Mustang, Oklahoma, where we take you behind the scenes as we equip the saints for the work of the ministry. I'm Jeremy Davis, your host. Let's get started. What is it that you're looking forward to the most?
Great chance to get to know people better.
It is an absolute madhouse.
I try to find a place with good salads.
So 3 sermons a day.
I never did youth ministry, mainly because I'm scared.
It feels good up here.
We run to the woods thinking, Lord, take my life. I'm done.
Often how I prepare my own heart. I'm looking and reading and thinking.
We had students in the room, 6th through 12th graders, singing at the top of their lungs the doxology.
The engine that is pulling the train should be truth.
I like it.
I like it too.
Okay.
Welcome back to another episode of the 412 podcast. And I want to welcome to the show today, Kashaun Barber and Hadley Daniel. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Glad you guys are here. So you guys are the youth director, student. What's your title, Kashaun?
My title is Director of Student Ministries.
There it is. Okay, Director of Student Ministries. And Hadley, you were the student ministry intern?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And we are coming off of a big summer, a lot of different things going on, a lot of fun things going on, and youth are very active throughout the summer.
That's right.
We've got a lot of stuff going on. So today's episode, we're just going to cover what does a summer for a student at First Baptist Mustang look like? So high school and middle school is what you guys cover. And typically we have a Sunday school hour where on a Sunday morning where the youth or the middle school in 1 hour, high school in the other. There's small group discussions in there. Sometimes you do master teacher. You have Wednesday nights. We have Elevate. That's kind of our normal school routine. But in the summer, everything's kind of out the window because there's a bunch of stuff going on. Including Sundays and Wednesdays. So we're just going to talk about those things. So you guys, let's start with our big events. So church camps, mission trip, all of that. Talk about church camp and Falls Creek, some of that. Kashaun, I'll let you jump in first.
Yeah, so we usually start our summer with a summer kickoff party in the parking lot, and that's the Wednesday after the last Elevate officially meeting. And we have all kinds of fun. We get out 9 Square and Gaga Ball and all that stuff. We just hang out and have snacks and all that stuff. And then a couple weeks after that, we go to our discipleship youth camp called Church Camp, where our students are, over the course of 3.5-ish days, we are involved in lots of deep teaching, deep theological teaching with small groups and lots of discussion. And it's a camp, so it's a lot of fun, too. We have volleyball, swimming, all of the other things that camp normally happens, and our kids really love it. Yeah. They really enjoy diving super deep into theology, and it's smaller, much smaller than Falls Creek, so there's still like the really small camp vibe to it, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have a lot of fun.
And to clear up any confusion, church camp is a church camp called Church Camp.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's not Falls Creek. This
Yes.
is a different church camp than Falls Creek.
That is true.
Falls Creek is also a church camp.
That is true. Yes.
But
lots of disclaimers and explanation.
That's right. But church camp, that's called Church Camp. And there's a small number of like-minded churches that are there. Churches that we consider to be good friends and people we're close to. And it's leadership primarily. So not everyone in youth is going, but kind of leaders and a smaller group of people who kind of want to go a little bit deeper.
That's true, yes. And so where Falls Creek is conceptually more of an evangelistic camp where you'd bring your friends or people who don't necessarily know Jesus, Church Camp specifically is focused on discipleship.
Yeah.
So we're diving more into deeper topics such as what is the church, why is the church, what is the church's goal and focus, what do we do as members of the church and stuff like that. So,
yeah. So how many of our students are going to church camp?
I think it was between 30 and 35, if I'm not mistaken, students that we brought this year, which was great. It was a great number.
And sponsors going on that? How many?
I think sponsors, would you say about 6 or 7?
Yeah, about 6 or 7 of us.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Okay, so Hadley, tell us a little bit about the church camp known as Falls Creek.
Okay, Falls Creek is Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Jam-packed. I think in middle school, did we have 70 kids?
Yeah.
And then high school is about 90, 95.
Wow.
It's really just a great week where we get to be kind of like isolated in the cabin with our students. So that's like a super great time for Joey, Kashaun, and I to get like intentional time getting to know the students, playing games with them, having fun. We do a lot of quiet times, morning devotionals. A different pastor from the church comes every morning to talk to our group.
Mm-hmm.
We do big tabernacle time, which is basically the main service with thousands of other kids.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the time is really just great free time doing sports, playing volleyball, swimming, just really getting to connect with the kids.
Very cool. Very cool. What was your theme this year for Falls Creek?
God from God.
God from God. And in a few weeks, I guess in about a month or so, there'll be an episode coming out. Joey and I will talk more about God from God and that theme and where that comes from, the Council of Nicaea. So we'll talk more about that. But great time at Falls Creek. And I know one of my highlights of my summer is getting to go during middle school and high school and get to go speak. They're in the cabin, which is always fun because that's literally the cabin I grew up going to when I was a student in this youth group.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you get to do that on Fridays because you bring so much energy, and we need that.
Right.
Kind of energy.
I try to. You know, I do college ministry, and there's a lot of energy there, so I try to bring that along.
Right.
The middle schoolers are always having a harder time.
Yep.
Because they don't know what's going on. They don't know
They're so
what end is
tired.
up.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
exhausted.
Yeah, that's why we usually get them to dance right beforehand.
Yeah.
We usually do
Yeah.
about 2 songs on middle school week for you.
Right. Yeah, so I don't know if they're following me or if they're in a daze or what's going on.
A
But
good mix of both.
Yeah, they're exhausted. High schools, they're always really engaged, and I think they're a little more used to the schedule, so
Right.
they're better equipped for it. But
Yeah.
it's always a good time. Well, that's great. About how many sponsors are going to Falls Creek?
Yeah, I would say
20, 25?
yeah,
30?
between 20 and 25
Yeah.
per week, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so we do 2 weeks, back-to-back weeks. We staff the kitchen, provide meals. Everyone's there sleeping in the cabin.
Yep.
It's like moving in, especially for you guys that are
Yeah,
Right.
there
for
for
sure.
both weeks.
Yeah, which it's also really great when you do both weeks because I can leave most of my stuff still in my bed and stuff and just bring the suitcase home with clothes and just wash them and bring them back.
Yeah.
So I don't have to pack again. You know?
Right,
So that's great.
That's good. Okay, so let's talk about another big event. Is you always go on a mission trip during the summer?
It's true.
This year, where did you go?
We went to Colorado.
Okay, and what's in Colorado?
So former pastor at our church, Kevin Godin, and his wife planted a church there a few years ago.
Okay.
And we went to help them out. And there's a church that they meet, whose building they meet inside of.
Yeah.
And they actually partnered with them to put on a VBS.
Oh, okay.
And so we got to partner, all 3 of us, to put on this VBS at nights with all the kids in the neighborhood and
Very cool.
from all the churches and stuff. And it was a great time.
Very cool. And where at in Colorado are they?
Broomfield.
Broomfield, Colorado. Which, if you're in Denver, how close are you?
About 30 to 45 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
So it's in the metro area.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Okay, very good. Okay, so how many students did you have on that trip?
We brought 4 students and 8 adults. We had some last minute cancellations and stuff like that, but yeah.
Okay, so talk a little bit about what the trip looks like, kind of activities going on, those things.
Yeah, so the major activity that we did was partnering and doing that VBS, and that was in the evenings.
Yeah.
And then there were a couple of times throughout the week where we did some things in the morning. So one of those times we helped out, we split up into groups. So one group went to where the Godins usually meet, where their church usually meets, and helped clean up that area, and I helped them fix a few tech things and stuff like that. And the other group went to help another church family move and assemble some furniture, which took a lot longer than anyone anticipated, which was interesting. And then we ended up finishing the VBS that day. And then,
Very cool.
But yeah, that was one of the things that we did. But the main thing was the VBS, because that took up all hands on deck. We were prepping pretty much for hours beforehand each day, and it was it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. And you were there for a week, you said?
Yeah, so we left Sunday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning,
Okay.
and I was almost in western Kansas tuning into a spotty live stream from our church
There you go.
while we were driving the van, so it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
And then we left Saturday morning at 6. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so if there's somebody in the church who's listening and they're like, man, I've never been to camp as a sponsor, I've never been on a mission trip as a sponsor, and they want to get plugged in, be involved, how do they go about doing that?
yeah, you can literally just drop by the church office and try to connect with Joey, Hadley, or myself, or you can email any of us at our first names at fbcmustang.org. We just got Hadley an email address so she can reach out in that way too.
Big time.
Yeah. So and we can get you plugged in and all of those things.
Yeah. Okay. Hadley, did they sell you the hall pass?
The hall pass.
Yeah. Have you heard about the hall pass you have
No.
to purchase? Okay, we'll make sure we.
Okay, right. Oh, okay. You got me for a second.
I didn't know where that was going, but I was on board for it.
Yeah, just hazing the interns. That's what goes on here. Very cool. Okay, so those are kind of the big events through the summer. Let's talk about maybe our weekly events. Wednesday nights looks different than normal.
That's true.
So Elevate is usually here in the youth center. It's a typical worship service. There's scripture reading. There's music. There's preaching that goes on. Then small group discussion time after that. Summertime, that's different. What goes on Wednesday nights in the summer?
Yeah, so we take off of meeting during the month of June to give our students a little bit of a break, and with camps and stuff going on, and it's hard to get something consistent at that point. So we just take the month of June off, and then when the month of July starts, we start a pool Bible study where we just go to a church member's house who has a pool, and we'll study the Bible for 20 to 25 minutes, and then we will swim for the rest of the time, and that's for the month of July.
Very cool. How many students do you think you have going to that?
Around 40, 50 at each group, don't you think? Yep.
Yeah, so this year we actually split up, not
Right.
guys and girls. We split up middle school and high school because last year we were getting up to like 80 or 90 kids at one house and one pool.
Yeah.
It's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
So we split up. The Statons hosted the middle schoolers, and then the Nelsons and Winds hosted the high schoolers. And we had about 45-ish each
Very
Wednesday
cool.
night.
Very cool. So at these pool Bible studies, you got 40 to 50 people. You're splitting up middle school, high school. Is there Bible teaching going on? Are they just swimming? Like what's going on?
Yeah, so we usually pick a book of the Bible, a little bit shorter book of the Bible to teach through for 4 weeks.
Okay.
Last year, I believe we did the book of Ruth. This year, we did the book of Jude.
Okay.
It was great. We actually roped in Brady and Jerry, Michael's interns, to help teach with that. And then we had one of our Sunday school teachers, Garrett Goebel, help teach that. So it was those three guys and then Joey and myself bouncing back and forth, and it was a great time.
Very cool. That's awesome. Okay, so what else are we doing this summer, or did we do this summer?
Well, last week while Kashaun and some of the high schoolers were on a mission trip, Joey and I took the incoming sixth graders on a little excursion to Heyday.
Okay.
But first we had them show up to the youth room. We showed them some of the games we play, some of the dances we like to do. And it's really just a great time to let them know what the youth group's about.
Okay.
How, just because you're leaving children's doesn't mean like we still have very high expectations for them as members of the youth group.
Yeah.
Got to talk to them about that, all the fun things that they get to look forward to. But really it was a great time for us to kind of get to know them one-on-one, try to learn their names before it got crazy with all the other kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are super nervous anyway to come in. And so just throwing them in on a regular Wednesday night would probably not be the best idea. So letting them come in and get used to the space, get used to us for a day, is really just a great opportunity for them to get comfortable and get excited to join youth.
So I've got to know, did Joey teach anyone any dances?
Joey, he did. Did he do the Cupid Shuffle in the sound booth?
Oh, he did it in the
But
sound booth.
that was about it.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's good.
Usually when we do On the Verge, I usually end up in the front teaching the kids the dances, and Joey ends up scurrying to the back of the sound booth, just like without anyone noticing.
I mean, he's definitely comfy there.
That's funny. Okay, so that's specifically for those students leaving children's ministry.
Yes.
Going into the youth group. Okay, very good. And that's based on in the Mustang schools. Well, it used to be. Now there's intermediate school and all that.
Right.
It messes it up. But it used to be that you would leave fifth grade. That was elementary school. You would go into middle school in sixth grade. A little bit different now, but we've kind of kept that tradition here.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so what else are we doing in the summer?
Yeah, so just a couple nights ago, we had a movie night in the youth center. We watched Cars.
Okay.
That was wonderful. We just hung out for 3.5 hours and played Nine Square and just hung out with the students, and it was a lot of fun.
Cool. So just purely fellowship and hang out. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask what the deep theological roots of Cars was, but
yeah. We don't do that.
I don't think there's much there.
Very good. That's awesome. Now, something you guys do all the time, and I would love to talk more about this and kind of your intentionality behind this and thoughts behind it, is if you go down, if you come to the offices during the week, go down the hallway, you're going to see Kashaun likely with his door shut. And guys in there, you're going to see Hadley likely with her door shut, young ladies in there, and you guys doing one-on-one discipleship, sometimes group discipleship.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about the discipleship that goes on in the youth group with you guys.
All right, Hadley, I'll let you go first.
We like to be super intentional with just being there for our students and super open. And so whenever a girl comes to me and says they want to chat, doors always open.
Yeah.
So sometimes it might just be 1-2 times they want to chat, but a lot of the times our students are super intentional and super focused on spiritual growth, and so they want to hear from those who are a little bit older than them. And so I'll never turn down a girl who wants to do discipleship. Oftentimes we'll pick out a book of the Bible that they want to study together, or we'll go through a book. Big thing is we always encourage each other to do scripture memory, so we'll pick out a different scripture and we'll work on that while we're separate, and then we come back together and recite it together. Also, I like to do every once in a while just like fun things, go coffee, just have one where it's just chatting or whatever, but just making sure that there's room for spiritual growth and there's room for those questions that need to be asked that they might not be comfortable asking their parents for, or, Joey, especially being a girl, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so when I think about growing up as a young man and a young Christian, there were several things that I was like, I really could have benefited had I known that at that time, or books that I've read that I'm like, if I had read that when I was 13, 14, 15, that would have been really helpful.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to just discipleship and stuff, I'll ask a student just, hey, I've got this book. Would you like to go through it? Maybe like once a week, discussing a chapter a week, and they're like, yeah, sure. So we'll discuss chapters in the book. Another thing that I like to talk about very regularly is active sermon listening. So I'll ask them specific targeted questions about the sermon, like what stood out to you? Why is this point that Pastor Michael brought out important? We'll talk about personal devotion, scriptures that they're reading and what's standing out to them, and kind of trying to talk through the meaning of the text and what they've been praying about, and then we'll discuss that theological book. So, and for me, I like to, depending on which student I'm discipling, I will alternate between a theological book and then a book of the Bible, just to not necessarily get too topical, or and try to talk about things that are pertinent as well. So that's usually how that goes.
Very cool. Well, I love that. I love that there's always students coming in, and with the vast number of homeschoolers that we have in our church, and getting ready to be my kids, some of them. It's neat because we get to use office hours for those
Praise
things.
Jesus. Praise Jesus. There are several students, and I will disciple any student that asks me to disciple. And schedules aren't necessarily that big of a deal, but it is certainly helpful if a student's like, oh yeah, you want to meet at like 1:30? I'm like, absolutely. Other students are like, the only time I can meet is 5:30. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I get it. Those schedules are hard, and coordinating things.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're grateful for that investment that you guys have for with our youth and their lives.
It's a joy.
Yeah. So before we move on to a little bit different subject, give me your highlight of the summer for each of you. What was kind of like the big thing? And maybe it was an event, maybe it was just a moment or a conversation that you had. But both of you, give me kind of your big thing from this summer.
I'll go first. I have mine. Okay. So I started in February as an intern and jumped right into DNOW, and all that stuff was super fun. But it was still kind of choppy just because I was really only seeing the kids on Wednesday nights and Sundays. And of course, I was discipling some of them, but that was only a few. Yeah. And so this summer, the big thing was just finally feeling like I found my footing with them. Like I found my place with each of the kids and are able to actually talk with them and hang out with them, and they feel comfortable with me and vice versa. And so for me being an introvert, it was really kind of scary coming in, but now being able to just like these are amazing kids. These are just such great kids. And so really just being able to bond with them and get to know them has been truly a blessing. In the summer, the camps, that is what allows that.
Yeah. Mission trips, camps, retreats, those things are relationship pressure cookers.
Yeah.
They are.
It accelerates.
That's great.
You know, your relationships with people so quickly.
Yeah, so for me, and this may sound kind of cliche, but as a musician, and I have a huge interest in worship music and stuff. And during church camp, one of the things that I always notice is that the kids are always singing the loudest. Church camp, not Falls Creek, by the way. And it's just the way we have the guy that we get to lead worship. His name is Graham Jones. He's just an acoustic player. He'll just play his acoustic, and lots of times he'll back off the mic.
Yeah.
And when he backs off the mic, you kind of expect the volume to be pretty quiet, just in general in most settings. But the kids are singing really loud, and I just absolutely enjoy that. We're singing biblically, theologically rich songs to our Savior for who He is and what He's done for us. That was probably one of my highlights.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And it usually is.
Yeah, very cool. I love that. Okay, so a little bit of a shift. Hadley, you are serving as an intern, and most of our interns, they will finish up at the end of the summer. You're going to continue your internship into the fall.
Yes.
And you're going to still be around to help us out. But I want to talk a little bit about just what you've learned from the internship, and maybe some big things that you'll take away. So give me a few things that have really impacted you from your internship specifically.
First off is just being here throughout the week has been, I think, like, people always think about working at the church and like, that would be a dream. And like, it really is. And Pastor Michael always talks about how, like, when you come to work here, like, we want people in the congregation to know, like, on Sunday, we're the same as we are Monday through Friday in the office. And I have seen that be true. And just like the discipleship and the welcomeness that everybody's had, you know, doors are always open for questions to be asked and answers and advice to be given.
Yeah.
I also think just like being on both sides, like I was in this youth group with Joey being the leader, and now being on the other side, like I did not realize how much work Joey and Kashaun did. Like, you just show up, the kids just, you know, they show up at camp and they're like, this is great, you know, like the lights are set up, the chairs are out, the games are out.
Right.
Like, it is a lot of work, and it's great work and it's fruitful work. And I think that the dedication that they have to making that so seamless, so the kids don't have to worry. It's not a chore. It's a labor of love, because we love the kids so much. And I think like that was something that was super impactful for me to see.
Very cool. Yeah. Is there anything like lessons or anything you've learned that you'll take on into your life?
I definitely think that for me, being like the introvert, like just strike up a conversation. Like so many like of the conversations, great deep-rooted conversations, and even some of the girls that I disciple now just came from like, even some of them just coming up to me, especially in the beginning, and just being like, hey, and just striking up a conversation.
Right.
And I think just being super intentional with those relationships around you, and not taking the church for granted, because we have so many opportunities to have those relationships all around us.
Yeah, very cool. Well, we've Chelsea and I, my wife and I, have gotten to see you grow over the last couple years in Crossroads as one of our college students. And to see you go from very introverted, quiet, and now, you know, a leader in that group has been really, really cool. So we're glad that you're here. And I want to thank both of you guys for being here and being a part of the show and sharing your thoughts and insights about the summer and youth ministry kind of as a whole with our church. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that is it for this episode of the 412 Podcast. Thank you so much, listeners, for joining us once again. We'll see you next time. This podcast is made possible by the members of First Baptist Mustang. This podcast is produced by John Osmus, our Director of Media, artwork by Olivia Travis, Director of Communications, and music by Pastor John Brewer, Worship Pastor here at FBC Mustang. For more information about First Baptist Church in Mustang, you can go to fbcmustang.org. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the 412 Podcast.